Oh yeah, we're back. It is indeed that time of the year once again where I get to reflect on all of the great music that we have been gifted this year. And in order to do that, I'm going to run through some of my favorite projects of 2025 thus far. As always, this is not in a ranked order, instead it's in alphabetical order as we save the actual rankings for when the year comes to an end. Be patient, give it 6 months, and we will eventually get there. But really quickly, before we get into the actual list itself, I do want to touch on some projects that some personal friends of mine have put out. My buddies in the grindcore band Insecticide just put out a killer LP titled Consume This Vile World. This shit is crushing, nasty, and disgusting. Oh, I love it. My homie Maget just put out his newest EP, Roller Coaster, a few weeks ago. It's really good indie and alternative rock, basically palatable to anybody with ears, so yeah, go check it out. Oh, and you might have seen that we made a documentary about the making of Roller Coaster that is now live on the Forever Spinning channel, so yeah, go give that a view. And my other homie, Mike Riley, dropped his debut LP titled Somewhere. Mike is a shredder on guitar, but he chose to make country-tinged indie tunes that are wistfully beautiful. He does not promote it like he should, so this is my way of helping him out. Go give that a listen. Alright, without further ado, let's get into things. First up is this Age of Apocalypse record, In Oblivion. A really solid mix of metal and hardcore all coming together to this super cohesive piece. Wailing, high-flying guitars are mixed with these super energetic vocals. Everything about this project is big and loud. I'm sure you're gonna find at least one song on here that you like, especially if you like aggressive music. Another killer LP is You Wanna Fade by Alien Boy. I've been a fan of Alien Boy for quite some time now, and I've gotta admit, this is probably my favorite record that they put out. It's super lo-fi emo and almost alternative rock. It's drowning in fuzz and reverb. It just has such a great sound to it. This also features some of the best songs that they've written as a group. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this record. Do not be surprised if you see me covering them in the near future. This new Asian Glow album, 11100011, I think that I got that right, is also an outstanding piece of music from 2025. It's elegant and noisy all at the same time, which is a very difficult line to walk, but somehow Asian Glow pulls it off with this one. I really fell in love with the entire soundscape of this LP when it first dropped, and I'm still really loving it now. Then we have this self-titled release from 1,000 Angels and 7. I think it's official, metalcore is freaking back. I don't know how many times I've said that in the past couple of years, but it's back. This record fucking rips the entire way through. God, I love it so much. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one of their limited cassettes, so if you don't have it, you probably won't at this point, and you know, you snooze, you lose. But you can always check this out on streaming platforms, which I highly recommend you do. Then there's this new Love Songs EP by Big Boy. I wasn't too crazy about this band as a whole up until this EP came out, because you're gonna make hardcore love songs? Hell yeah, I'm in. It's a fully cohesive EP that never overstays its welcome. It's got diverse, thoughtful hardcore music that has vocals that are equally as earnest as they are angry. It is such a catchy project. I constantly find myself humming along to songs like Now and Other Side of the River. Honestly, this might be the EP of the summer. Another aggressive release that I really liked is I Don't Wanna See You in Heaven by the Callous Boys. These peeps are pushing metalcore forward in such fun and interesting ways. This is absolutely the furthest push of the envelope to date. There are a million different sounds being incorporated into this album. It really is such a hodgepodge of noise. You get elements of sasscore and hardcore all blended together to make this incredibly weird mix. It's a dynamic and fluid LP, not to mention angry all the freaking time. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about these songs as individual tracks, but as a whole project, yeah, this is a certified banger. Speaking of bangers, we have Belly of the Beast by b.o.m.b.s. At this point, this is my favorite hardcore release of the year. The riffs are massive, the grooves are inescapable, and the hooks are invigorating and inviting. It's a little cookie cutter at times, and not necessarily revolutionary, but I'll be damned if this isn't one of the best hardcore LPs to come out in the 2020s. No bad tracks, no fillers, just pure, unadulterated New York hardcore. What else could you freaking want? Slowing things down a bit, we have Last Leg of the Human Table by Cloakroom. This is an awesome shoegaze release that does much more with that sound than many of their contemporaries do. The record just sounds freaking fantastic. I was super excited for this album to drop, and it certainly lived up to its hype. Without a doubt, in my opinion, Cloakroom is one of the best bands of this last decade. Next up is Living Gracious by Crush Your Soul. I love their debut record from last year, and this album is no different. It's much more loose in its approach than the last one, as you can tell that they had so much fun making this. It really shines through. Jay's vocals are so unique in the modern hardcore scene, so it's really nice to hear them over top of these different sounds. You get elements of hip-hop in here mixed in with, of course, a lot of hardcore sounds. sounds. Yeah, this thing's awesome. I really want to see what Crusher Soul does next, especially if we're not getting a new Mind Force album anytime soon. Then we have Lonely People with Power by Death Heaven. I'm still not crazy about their last release, Infinite Granite. I think it's a fine project, but Lonely People with Power could very well be my new favorite Death Heaven album. It's as cohesive as Sunbather, but somehow even bigger and badder. I love the spoken word passages on here, pulling back from the metal and black gaze sound, loosening things up and airing it out a little bit, especially the Boy Harsher feature on here. Man, I freaking love that. But still, this album is crushing through and through, beating you over the head with riffs and drums like you're a nail and they're the hammer. I truly never thought that they could outdo themselves, yet here we are. Switching up the sound rather drastically, we have Dia by Ella Minus. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm really loving the mix of sounds that come out of this one, between electronic, pop, and even a bit of industrial put in there. Flat out, it's an enjoyable LP through and through, one that I would recommend to nearly anyone. I want to be dancing to a song like Broken in a hot and humid warehouse rave show. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. But next we have Caveman Wakes Up by Friendship. There are dismal lyrics about the pains of everyday life. It's brutally candid in its darkest moments, but also kind of uplifting through its tough revelations. It sounds super good, the lyrics are just freaking outstanding. Yeah, I have a feeling this one's going to be going triple platinum out by the fire pit this summer and fall. One of the earliest albums to come out this year is also one of my favorite. That will be End of the Nail by Gleamer. It has heavy, sludgy shoegaze sounds with also very present vocals. It's kind of a strange mix, but man, they pull it off so well. This is the Gleamer album that finally clicked with me, and yeah, I can't get enough of it. The vocals are singable and catchy, while the instrumentals are crushing and devastating. It's an all-encompassing record that should really be heard in full. I also quite enjoyed this new Gold Dust record, In the Shade of the Living Light. They mix sounds that pull from psychedelic, indie, and even folk. There are a lot of different sounds coming at you at once, but it's also still kind of a light and breezy listen. If you're sitting out at some point watching a sunset this summer, I recommend tossing this one on. It didn't necessarily blow me away, but it's one that I keep on coming back to, so yeah, it's a sneaky good record. One of the latest records to come out as of this recording is Die in Love by Greet Death. I was never really into Greet Death, but I also never really gave them a chance up until this album coming out. I went back, listened to their older material, which I now quite like, but man, I was floored by Die in Love. The guitars are freaking massive. I love the different vocals that are featured throughout the LP. The song construction is outstanding throughout. Some of these are super catchy songs, while the others are meant to be more think pieces. It is a fully fleshed out and thorough release. I cannot recommend this one enough, even though it just came out like 2 weeks ago. I also quite like this new Gridiron LP, Poetry from Pain. Their fusion of hip-hop and hardcore can sometimes come across a little gimmicky in my opinion, but when they do pull it off, it sounds freaking fantastic. The vocals are barked with such authority, while the instrumental behind it is crushing, pummeling, and just beats the living shit out of you. I can't say that I love every single song on this album, but man, the ones that hit just hit it out of the park. They're also representing Pennsylvania, so I gotta have their back for that. Another great hardcore release comes in the form of this split EP between Haywire and No Guard titled Shirts vs. Skins. Much like the Gridiron release, I don't love every song on this project, but the ones that do stand out are incredible. For instance, the opening track, which is performed by Haywire, is called Summer Nights, and yeah, this might just be my song of the summer. The hook on this one is incredible, inviting everybody to sing along, reminding me a lot of older bands like Pennywise and stuff like that. Both these bands are blowing up right now, as they should be, so if you want to get in on the ground floor, start off here and dig into the rest of their stuff. Definitely worth checking out. One of my most highly anticipated albums of the year is now out, and of course that is going to be Hunting Season by Home Is Where. I never got a chance to make a video talking about my favorite albums of the 2020s thus far, but fine, I'll say it right here. The Wailer is my favorite album of the 2020s, so of course I was super excited for this one to come out, and yeah, it lived up to the hype. B's writing is as punctual and important as ever. I love her vocals. I love the way that she went about this entire project. It is so much more country tinged than the older emo stuff that they made, and I was a little leery on that at first, but after hearing it in full, fuck yeah. So many amazing songs on here that are such a departure from their old sound, but they make it work incredibly well. I'll be singing the praises of Home Is Where until the day that I die, so yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about this one. I could go on for hours. Just go listen to Hunting Season and report back. A record that I was pretty surprised that I liked was this new Horse Girl LP, Phonetics On and On. Was not crazy about their last release at all, but this one was quite enjoyable. Definitely some weird instrumental decisions were made, but it kind of comes together in a way that I wasn't expecting. There are so many different earworms earworm riffs and licks and hooks that are spread throughout this. It's quite an enjoyable listen that I haven't spent too much time with at this point, but I plan on doing so throughout the year. Another album that I haven't spent too much time with that I would like to change is this new Kestrel's project, Better Wonder. Super full instrumental sections on nearly every single song. It's dense, it sounds great. I quite enjoy the tones here, the pacing is really good. Again, it's just a project I haven't spent too much time with yet, and I really need to change that. Regardless, go check it out. Then there's also this new Karin album, A Flame in the Dark. I do not love it quite as much as their older projects, but it's still a super solid release. This is one of those bands that really never steers me wrong, so I'll continue to listen. If you like synth pop, dark wave, post-punk, anything in that kind of sound, then yeah, you're probably gonna enjoy this one. The songs are still catchy as all hell, it sounds great, yeah, of course, it's another Karin release, they really can't go wrong. The new Mac Miller posthumous record, Balloonerisms, is also a great LP from this year. Definitely an oddball project. I wasn't too sure how I was gonna like it going into it, as I never heard any of the leaks that came out years ago, but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought there were a lot of really interesting and heartfelt songs that Mac had been writing for years. I think that anybody who helped make this project come to life did a sincerely great job. It didn't feel rushed, it didn't feel unneeded. It sheds light on an interesting time in Mac's musical life that, yeah, I feel is important to get out there. So many great tunes, really enjoyed this one. You've probably heard it already, but if you haven't, you know, go take care of that. Another hip-hop release that I really liked is this new Mike album, Showbiz. It's Mike, he really doesn't do anything wrong. He makes a lot of amazing music, and this is just the latest installment in an incredible discography. It's your typical Mike record where you have his mumbling vocals with some of the most introspective lyrics you'll ever hear on top of these super intricate beats. It's a weird project, as it usually ends up being, but that just makes Mike all the better. The new Mama LP, Welcome to My Blue Sky, is also a standout from 2025. I'm seeing a lot more radio play of this record, which is awesome. The band absolutely deserves it. They write catchy tunes that anybody could enjoy. This is just the latest installment of that. I feel like a lot has been said about this record already, so I don't need to delve too deep into it. I'm also seeing a lot of love for this new MS Paint EP, No Separation. It is very well deserved. Obviously, I adore Post American, which is their LP from a couple of years ago. This is their first release since then, and it delivers. I would even say that it over-delivers. These tracks are lightning fast, stuffed full of incredibly interesting sounds. Dee Dee's vocals are as manic as ever, with his lyrics talking about the world coming to an end. It's kind of a doomer record disguised by the bright instrumentals underneath of it. It's another one that if you love hardcore, post-punk, and sounds kind of in between there, along with these synths and, I don't know, a bunch of different shit. I don't even know what I'm getting at this point. Really good EP, go check it out, absolutely worth your time. Songs like Angel and the title track are ones that I'll be sticking with for many years to come. Another awesome EP is this brand new split between Pain of Truth and Tsunami, titled Coast to Coast. Two of the biggest and best bands in hardcore right now coming together to release an absolutely unhinged EP. This shit is bonkers, it is big, bad, ugly, just a motherfucker to deal with. Few modern bands are able to get the blood pumping like they do, so seeing them come together on this one is massive. They might not be my favorite songs written by these bands, but they're super enjoyable, are packaged together really well. I can't say enough good things, really good split. This is the silkscreen back of the LP itself. Yeah, this is pretty fucking badass. But switching the sounds up once again, we have this new Sophie Jameson record I still want to share. This is just some really nice indie folk music that I keep coming back to way more than I ever would have thought. Lovely vocals, interesting song construction, great tones, yeah, just a very enjoyable listen. Definitely worth a shot, especially if you like these types of sounds. But back to my bread and butter of hardcore, we have this new Speedway release, A Life's Refrain. I didn't love it on a first listen, but after putting it on 2 or 3 more times, I really fell into it. Great fast-paced riffs, everything about this is short and sweet and to the point. It's one of those records that you blink and it's over. You might miss some things in between there, and that's kind of why I recommend giving it another shot if you did already, because that third time around when I listened to it, it clicked, and it's not like you're wasting a ton of time. I think it's like a 20-minute record at most. Give it a shot. The payoff is worth it, at least in my opinion. Moving along, we have one of the biggest rock records of the year that just came out. Of course, that will be Never Enough by Turnstile. I still don't know exactly how I feel about this project, even though I've listened to it a ton at this point. I really do understand why a lot of people are saying that it's basically just Glow on Part 2, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think they took a lot of aspects of that record, improved on it in some ways and then just kind of fell short in other ways. I still do quite like it, I listen to it a lot already as I just said, but there are some lackluster moments that are quite forgettable. But when this thing shines, god damn it does it shine. But I'm assuming you've heard this record already, it is one of the biggest releases of the year, so let's move on. Because now it's time to talk about this new Viagra Boys release. Viagra Boys? Is that how you fucking say it? I have no idea. Why'd they have to make it this difficult? Oh wait, I know why, because it's Viagra Boys. Yeah, this is awesome. This very well could be my favorite Viagra Boys release up to this point. Can't get enough of it. I think that it is incredibly earnest throughout. Obviously, it sounds great. They always do a good job incorporating weird sounds into their post-punk manic soundscape. It's all encompassing with its fun, witty writing, along with these super sad portions in there as well. I can't believe they wrote a song like Medicine for Horses, as slow as it is. It's probably one of the best songs that they've ever written. I know it's one of those records that's kind of been talked about to death at this point, but you know what? I'll be the brave soul to say it. It's a good album. I know, I'm a brave soul. This new Weather Station album, Humanhood, is also quite good. I don't think that the Weather Station's ever really put out a bad album, and yeah, this just continues a long legacy of great records. Their signature sound of soothing, calming, and intricate music is always good. Tamara Lindemann's lyrics are as poignant as ever, the vocals are outstanding, yeah, another welcomed addition to their legendary catalog. Last but certainly not least is this new demo from Weapon X, Weapon X Demo 2. Very creative, fellas. Their last demo is one of the best modern hardcore demos that I can think of. I can't get enough of it, freaking love that one. And this demo 2 is a great addition to that. Sure, I would love to hear a full release from this band at some point sooner rather than later, but you know what, for the time being, this'll tie me over. Few bands are doing it quite like them at this point, so yeah, I really hope they continue with their output, continue to put out new music, do some great shows, yeah, Weapon X forever, even as a non-straight edge guy. But yeah, that is going to do it. Those are some of my favorite releases of 2025 so far. There were a lot of projects that I missed out on this year. I am well aware of that. There are plenty on a list that I have written out that I'm like, shit, I should have listened to before I filmed this video. But with new time constraints with my new job, hey, we gotta get something out at some point, and this is how we're gonna do it. So if there are any albums or EPs or any project in general that you really like that I didn't mention here, leave a comment down below. I really want to get to all of them. Admittedly, this is probably the least new music that I've listened to in quite a long time, and obviously I want to change that. But if you have missed any of these projects that I've listed here and you want to give them a shot, I've listed all of the links down below so you can check that out. Also, if you aren't subscribed to Forever Spinning yet, please change that. I know I've been absent a lot this year, some would even say a full 6 months, so I'm sorry, but I am trying really hard to get back into the swing of things, so hopefully we will be picking up and having a more regular schedule as the rest of the year continues. But that is just about going to do it. Outside of my usual reminder for you to go out and support your local record store if you were able to, along with the local artists in your area, and well, till I see you next time, happy listening.